Hola, I'm Soraya, and today I wanted to share with you the completed book Lost Ocean by Johanna Basford. So this book has an interesting story because I started 2 years ago. So this was before I started Alien Worlds and finished it. It was before I started Ivy and the Inky Butterfly and finished. So a lot of things went by in these 2 years, of course. So half of the book was completed and then the other half was not. And I grabbed this book because I was preparing for the next month hashtag May the Coloring Be With You, because I have a mermaid Jedi here in this book. And then I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this book? Am I done or am I going to continue? Because even though I love the theme, you know that this has a lot of tiny little things that I cannot color because, yeah, I need to find a different way of coloring the book, like my way, that I'm calling it my way. So I didn't have an idea. But then, of course, I was rewatching Star Wars Rebels, and when I watch Star Wars, I always have ideas. So here we have another Star Wars story. So what inspired me to complete this book was this quote by Obi-Wan Kenobi. So the quote is, "This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple, that time has passed, and our future is uncertain. Avoid Coruscant, avoid detection, be secret, but be strong. We will each be challenged, our trust, our faith, our friendships, but we must persevere, and in time, I believe a new hope will emerge. May the Force be with you always." So as things are happening right now in the world, that we don't need to go into it, this was relevant to me because if you don't know a lot about the Jedi story, they were once defending the galaxy, but then there was a war, which was the Clone War, and then they were destroyed. So this is the message after the destruction, and now they need to regroup and try to find a new way to continue forward. So a new hope will emerge. So for me, in this now story of the Lost Ocean, it means that all the characters of Star Wars are going to the Lost Ocean to try and find a way to move forward, and that's the story of the book. So now I'm going to show you the pages that I already finished 2 years ago and the new pages. So before that, these are the hashtags that are going to join the pages for this month. I'm going to put everything in the description. So this was 2 years ago. Here I got for the first time my spray textile inks, so I was trying them out so you can see the different colors. And what I learned from this experience is that it goes through the other side. So, and I was okay with it. So this was just having fun. And the thing about also this book is that I love all the water mediums, like ink, like the watercolor or acrylic or sprays or whatever. For me, water medium are my favorite. So here I was just going to town. So here once again is the same thing. I was just trying to see if I could mix colors. So here you have green, here you have orange, pink and blue, which was the colors, it was the colors of one of the sets. So here it is. So all of this was done last year. Here you have a different color here and then another. So I know I could do more in this page, but my point in adult coloring is just relaxing and just explore my creativity. So yes, I could do this, but that will stress me out and hurt my hands and everything. So we are moving on. So this is the first page that I did now, and the way that I did this is tissue paper, black tissue paper. I didn't buy it. I got it in a gift So I thought, okay, so let's see what happened if I glue this, because I wanted because of the story. There were incarcerations going on in the Lost Ocean because the Empire was after the remaining Jedi and the rebellion forces. So you can see the fishes are behind bars. This was it was already with ink that went to the other side of the page, so I had this I had this already, so I just glued the door and then this tissue paper. And this tissue paper is awesome because everything goes. It's really easy to tear, you don't need to be strong. And then I didn't glue it like very well. I was just putting the pieces, so it's really awesome to do. So this was my first try in using that tissue paper. This one was done 2 years ago. This was a coloring page from a Disney Kids book. It was Nemo. And then I used washi. This is granulating as Itami when I got them 2 years ago, and I love them still today. One of my favorite supplies. So, and this is a little bit of orange, so I did orange around the fishes and washi, of course. Then a new page for now. So the Ewoks are after the octopus. You can see they are evil ones. These ones, they are on the side of the Empire, and they are trying to grab the octopus. So here I went beyond here. So here I was just trying to see what if I use that tissue paper. I had fun, so then I continue. Here it's really a lot of pieces, and then I just splattered with acrylic ink, and you can see the texture, which I love. So this time I was really exploring textures. So see, I didn't really cut the tissue. It was just so thin that I could mold. Yeah, so here are the evil Ewoks. And then I didn't, cut everything precisely because of my hands, but I'm fine because I had so much white, and that's why I put the white here splattered. And I think it works because it's like the bubbles under the sea. So this was acrylic and also acrylic, and then this purple I also added here, so it kind of match. So this page makes me laugh. Here's another one that I did when I did this one. So I was exploring with the Gansai Tambi watercolors. So another coloring page. This time I glued on top of this paper, so it matched here. And here are the Gansai Tambi. Once again, it's just the Gansai Tambi that I use, nothing else. And they are really fun. I didn't use brush in this book because of not going to the other side of the page. So here we already saw this page. So from a coloring book we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then washi, I chose the bubble washi because of the underwater. We have here the sentence that is the story throughout the book. Then the way to color this, I wanted, because I'm not going to color the fishes individually, that's too much, so I used ink. So just the dabber, and then with my finger I just did like this. And I wanted to use acrylic paint, and this acrylic paint is awesome because in the tube it already comes all of this. So you see the yellow, and you see these little things, the yellow things, and then also these things. So it's just one go. I have all of this except the brown of the ink. So once again, it needed to be a very easy and simple page, but a page that I had fun with. And yes, it did meet my criteria. My mistake was you are seeing all of this out because I should have put the ink first of the fish and then go over the acrylic, but I didn't because I never know exactly what I'm going to do with the page. I just go with the feel. So that was the mistake here, because when I was putting the ink, I was removing these tiny things. but it's okay. I think it looks great also. And then I just put ink here, and then I didn't cut exactly straight because of my hands, so I just go like this and it works. And I think it's I like it. I think I like, I'm really happy with the pages because they are so colorful. And of course there are some that are not so colorful, but I think they work too. So here's a new also page, and this one has lots and lots of collage. So the original page was the jellyfish and the fish. So what happened here is that I went with this to use watercolor, because the thing with acrylic that I started using a year ago is that when a little bit is left, it's going to dry up, and I don't want that. So I wanted to try if I could use watercolor in tube, because I know that when it's over, I don't need to use it right away, because I can put water and then revive it and use it again. But of course I bought something that is very, very cheap, and the problem is that it's very how do you say it, it's I mean, the texture is not good. It's very, yeah, it has a binder that, yeah, it doesn't work for me. So I did all of this, and I did color the whole images. Let me show, because here I didn't color everything very good. So you are seeing, see, everything is colored. Yeah, but the problem is that I couldn't even touch because it's, yeah, it's not good. So what I did was, okay, and also the other problem is that these jelly are very difficult for me with all those loops and stuff. Yeah, it's really difficult to try and color them. So what I did was, we have, of course, he's eating in a restaurant, and he was, you know, looking at the window, and he's seeing the fish going his merry way, and then he's going and he's seeing the jellyfish, but then he's like, oh, there's a treasure, here is a treasure. And you know that he loves treasure, so he's going after the treasure and leaving the food untouched. So that's the story of the page. How I did the page was watercolor. This is acrylic. This is acrylic pen, the dot one. This is a paper. I didn't, once again, I didn't cut like with a scissor. I just did this with my fingers, and I had more or less like a window. Then I used ink around. With the same thing, I put, because it was round, so I just did the bubbles, because I love circles. And if you are doing a underwater scene, that's awesome, because there's a lot of bubbles. So I was happy doing all the circles. So you have this. Then the paper has the tiny bubbles, as you can see. Then it's washy with like swirls, like the waves. Then I had this piece of paper with a jellyfish, but the problem was that it was too tiny for both pages. So the way that I did was, I punched the big circle, and then I punched the little circle, which is what you are seeing here. So here you are seeing three little ones, which are three little ones, and then with the rest of the paper I cut. So I was just trying to see if I could, you know, use all the little pieces that I had so I could cover the page. And then this paper is just so old. I got it when I was in high school in one of the notebooks, and I saved the pages that I didn't write. So it matched so well, you know, these colors, that I used it. And then with this was in a page that I cut, and yeah, that's the page, which it took me some time just to figure out how I was going to match all of these different supplies, but I like it. I think it's fun. Then the next page. So in this page, we have Chewie and Yoda, and you know that Chewie helped save Yoda at the end of the Clone War. So here they are at the Lost Ocean together. So here I used napkins, because I have, you are going to see all the napkins that I have that are related to the ocean. So napkins, once again, are really for me, fun to use just because they already have the shapes, so I don't need to cut anything. And then they are very thin, so it's easy for the hands. And then because this is water, I didn't care if it was well glued or not, so you're going to see that it's not completely glued. I just put a little bit with the glue stick, and that's it. See, I didn't care for perfection, and it works, and it works. So here I did this is a acrylic top coat, once again with all of these things together. So all of this shine that you are seeing, I just use it once because this top coat had already all of this, and it has a slight color that has to do with this color of the napkin. So see, here you are seeing what I glued, and I'm okay with it because for me this is like texture and I don't want to cover everything. So yeah, so the only thing that I colored was just these lines with acrylic. You just need to be careful with the pen that you use because this destroys the tips of your pens. So I use the tough one, and if you're not very, if you have some pens that you're not very enamored and you want to use up, that's the pens that I use. So see, I just colored the fishes. Oops. See? And yeah, so I was just playing with this. And yeah, another fun page, and as you can see, it's a very fast page too. So these ones I did 2 years ago. So another coloring book. I was trying to use water-based markers, which I still, it's not my thing because of the streakiness. Here I try to embrace it using 3 different colors, and I put him as a streaky, animal. Yeah, but yeah, this is, I'm still working with this water based pens. So this is just ink, I think, and then this was kids paint, and then washi. This was one of my first pages because this was done, I think, for the February because of the fairies. So this is a stencil. This was like the first time that I was using a dot marker. Oh my god, it's like, going back memories how I started. So they were blowing away magic for the crabs, and you are seeing these crabs. And yeah, so I just dotted some of the crabs. Here she is, another one, and then metallic washi. This one, this is a paper washi, and then dot marker. And then here, the story of this was when I was in Ibiza and I went on a boat. There were, if you go to the bottom, they have like windows that you can see the bottom of the ocean. So that's what I was trying to recreate, like seeing the fishes going. And then I just put plastic here because I wanted to mimic a window. And the fishes, they are not colored. So they are colored, but it's just with I use distress oxide. I just put like one stamp for fish, and they are colored like this. And then I put a little bit of water so you can see a little of bubbles. Yeah, so I was just trying this effect for the first time. Here it is. So it was my way of coloring fishes. So this was a fun page too, 2 years ago. More 2 years ago. So again, Disney coloring book. And then here was the spray paint. I was trying to use this. This is a new one. So he's going after the seahorse. So here, this is metallic kids paint, the coloring book. So here I just went around with acrylic paint. These are the dots, more paint, and then acrylic marker, the dots. So I was trying, see, this green was the closest green that I had to this one. So yeah, so see, there was another seahorse here, but I just colored, see, I just colored one. So my bubble page again. So this one was done now. So simple. I just use a napkin here, so you can still see these swirls, and the napkin have these waves, so I just glue the napkin and that's it. Here it's paint, and then I used here this is watercolor, and the more dark, I use this. I just did it like this, yeah, and that's the result. This is paint, this is acrylic marker. I just dotted this the sails because I didn't want it to color the tiny things, so I used dots once again, and I think it's a fun ship. I mean, I had no idea it was going to be a red and yellow ship when I started, but I think it works well. This one was done also 2 years ago for the in February for the fairies. So it was Peter Pan, the star, and then I don't do skulls. So the way that I did 2 years ago, I just cut with the flowers because it was the beginning of spring. So I just cut the shape of the skulls. Kids book, and then this was my Peter Pan page, and this is metallic wash. Looks awesome. This is Imi wash. Okay, so this one I did now. Once again, I used the napkins that I had. So when I saw this pack, I don't know when, like 1 year ago or something like that, I thought this looked like water, and I can also use it for space. So but I use it water. So once again, I just glued it here, and you know, going around, it's really easy. See, I just glue pieces on top. Yeah, so it's awesome to work like this. The way that I cut this is just I used water with a napkin, and then if you put it on water, you just go like this, and then you take away, so you don't need to use a scissor or anything like that. It works. So here, you know, R2D2 is going underwater, you know, he's just, things are happening. And then there's a sunken ship, so he's going to explore to see if he can find something to help the resistance. Here, so it was kids paint again. I used dotting to color the vegetation. The fish is just one single color, as you can see, with acrylic. So I used red because of here, and then blue because of here. And then yeah, I just covered the whole ship with one marker. And here are the fishes with the eyes and lots of bubbles. So yeah, I was trying to find different ways of, you know, coloring this. So this here was with ink, you know, here was with dots, and then you're going to see more ways of trying to color this. So that's this page. This is a page that I had so many hopes for, but it didn't turn out because I discovered that it was hard for me to do pastels. But this was done 2 years ago, and that's why I'm saying jellyfish are hard, you know, all of these swigglies. But let me tell you the story because I still love the story. So my title for this page is All Aboard. So when I saw these stickers, the bunny stickers, I immediately imagining them hanging on the jellyfish. So they are hanging on the jellyfish. Some of them are on top of the jellyfish, so they are traveling, and one of them is falling, as you can see. So we have the bubble because they need to breathe, and that's why you have the bubbles, and that's why it's all aboard. But the problem is that the colors really don't work. So I used a metallic wash. That was my thing 2 years ago. Here's the bunny. And for the jellyfish, since I couldn't color, you know, like the whole thing, I just colored one color for jellyfish. So you have the pink rabbit. So this was the pink jellyfish. This was the blue rabbit and blue jellyfish. So that's how I was doing. So I still love the idea, even though the execution wasn't there. But yeah, I think it's still a fun page. And then, of course, washi around. So this was 2 years ago, very simple, once again, this was a metallic wash. I just put tape here, and then I just did the colors, and then the dots, and then this was with a stencil, and we have a mermaid. So this is fun. So this was my way of not coloring all of these individual things. This is this year. So we have the ship of the Empire trying to find, you know, the Jedi. So this is a sea washi, black washi. This is the ship. We have a mermaid. And then here I began with just blue, and then I used this to do like this to the middle, and then of course more splatter, and then I have the bubbles, and that's how this was done. So you might recognize this image. This is from the second glue book that I finished. I wasn't really enamored with him, so I'm just reusing the images that I like. So yeah, this is one of the images from the book that I showed previously last month. This is 2 new pages that I love. I had so much fun doing this. So once again, we have one color. And then this is from a kids coloring book. I colored yellow because of the yellow that I used here, and then this is the color from here, and then here I just used black watercolor, and then I just did like this, and then once again sprinkle, you know, with white, so we have all of the bubbles. And yeah, I just put the yellow in the jellyfish, and then in the crab, and we have a Darth Vader page trying to find the rebels, and then we have the Emperor, and he's like, ha ha ha, you think you can run away from me in the sea, in the ocean, but I will catch you all. So here he is. So once again I went around to do a frame from the same kids book. Again, I didn't color the whole fishes, I just went with ink. And then here it's 2 inks, so I used the black and then the red and then the white. So I think my main difference from 2 years ago is that now I use a lot more texture and layers, because if you see this and you see this is completely different. Here was just one layer, and here we have several, because I think that here I was just so fascinated with this watercolor that I love that I didn't want to put anything else because I didn't want to destroy it. But now I just go for it and, you know, invent. So I think this is really, really fun, and yes, easy to color. Another page that I did now. So here they are, the Empire, and they are, you know, searching for rebels under the sea. So again, this was a really, really easy page to do. So I used, this is wrapping paper. So when I saw this wrapping paper, I thought this really looks under the sea. Then again, the same washi with the bubbles, because we are under the sea. Here, once again, this was a top coat of acrylic. I wanted to use them up because they are more than 2 years and I'm afraid they are going to dry up. So I used it. On top, it was acrylic marker, and once again, I just went for the fishes, a single color. And once again, be careful with the markers that you use because they destroy the tips. This destroys the tip of your markers. And here are. So very fun page to do also, and very fast. This one from 2 years ago, it was the first time that I was doing paper piecing. So I was coloring with paper. So this is origami paper, and it was spring paper. So I mean, 2 years ago when I did this, it was springtime also, so it really matches where we are now. So each chart has a different color. I used circles, and I just put, and then I just cut, and behind it's distress oxide in spray form. And I also put a little bit of glue, glitter glue on top of the sharks. So that was the second time that I did here. Oh, this is a shark with all the different colors because I had this one left. So see the circles? Yeah, I hate circles, and then that's how I did, so they all shine. Yeah, so this was really fun to do. Once again, a way of not coloring the whole thing, all those tiny details. And I have my spring sharks. So this one was done also 2 years ago. It was for a prompt of Merlin. So this was Merlin and this was Arthur, and it was the pirates. So I did the fish also with, I did it with washi and I cut, so I did it with the colors. So see, Merlin, it has the theme of the astronomy and stars, and then here I just did with a circle and then washi, and then this was a glitter paint, so it shines a lot. Yeah, so this was done with the washi. This one is done now. So once again, an image from the glue book that I just showed. This is the other napkins that I had, so I just glued it on top. So this is two colors that I used. I just put acrylic dot here around, and that's it. So it's just washi, two colors, one color here for the acrylic, the image, and then the napkins, and that's it. Once again, not very concerned if they are all properly glued or not. I just put a little bit of glued here, I put it on top, and there we go. So this is fun, and it shines because it's metallic. So I love shining pages. So this one was done now. So this page, I actually colored the whole thing. This is not normal, but it did happen because it just made sense. So it was done with watercolor and acrylic marker and kids paint. So here I used this because it's easier for me than to do the brush thing. So yeah, so that's why you see all the circles. That's it. Here the darker, it was like this. Then you have dot markers, the acrylic dot markers, and yeah, so this is all acrylic, and it's a pastel page, which is amazing. So here I was not going to color all those tiny things, so I just used dots, and yeah, so this was my way of coloring this page. Here, 2 years ago, I wanted to do bees. I really wanted to do bees, so I created them, and I'm still so happy with them. So I did the wings, and this was with punch, and then I put black washi, so I have the stripes. So the bees are arriving to the shore. So we have the sand here, and then all of the flowers because it's spring, and then washi, and then this was like a with some paint. I think it was like metallic paint that I used. So I still love this page. So simple, but it was really fun to do and imagine. And you see the seashells because this is the ocean. That's what you can see at the bottom of the ocean. Another new page, so with the same napkins that I showed. So this is a page from the glue book that I showed last month. This is from a notebook that I finished many years ago. So I thought the pages, the colors matched more or less. So I used napkins, washi again, paint, watercolor paint, and then once again a lot of dots because this was a lot of tiny things. I just try to enhance some of the lines. So we have the ship, the lighthouse, and then the turtle. That's what I tried to enhance. And then this is this star wasn't here, so this is a oh, hang on, it's a tag. So when you give a gift, you can write something here. So I have this, so that's this page. So once again, we have the Empire going after our heroes, our characters in the Lost Ocean. So this one was done 2 years ago, so my first try of using wrapping paper. So this is just one color and wrapping paper, the same color, and this was my first page ever of St. Patrick's Day. I did St. Patrick's Day in Star Wars, of course. Oops. Okay, so I was just drinking a little bit of coffee. So yeah, so origami paper. This is just two colors, one color here and then this color. This is from a kid's book that I colored with gel crayon. I used a sticker, and yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day in a galaxy far, far away. I know the characters now don't really match my story because, you know, these characters only appear long before the New Hope because this is from the last part of the story. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, we are being a little bit loose here. So this was done 2 years ago. I just had these three paints, and I was trying to blend. Of course, you're looking at this, and yes, it's not blend, but this was my first try. So yeah, I used the three colors, and I just went through the lines of the fishes and the seahorses, and then here I just put a little bit of glitter glue around. So yeah, we have the fish, we have the seahorse, and yeah, at least it's shiny. And yes, it was fun to do. So here we have this page. I didn't alter any pages that I did 2 years ago because I like the way that they are, because they do represent your journey. So I mean, they were fun when I did it. That's no point in going back. Okay, so yeah, these two were also done 2 years ago. I always need to do the Little Mermaid. So for me it was like you know, it was like Ursula was going after, because the fishes are going like this, so Ursula was going, you know, Sebastian, and then Sebastian was going after Flounder, and then Flounder was going after the Little Mermaid. So I used, you know, different colors. I divided this with washi, and I just put the characters. This was my Easter page 2 years ago. So I don't like snakes, so I had to cover the faces of the snakes. So the face of the snake has an egg on top. And then I put the rabbits. The rabbits are notebooks. So it was already cut like this. I only had to glue. This is a paper that I glued the rabbits on, so it more or less, you know, matched. So we have notebook, and then this is a sticker, and then I used metallic wash and then acrylic, and here I put a little bit of white to see if the color was a little bit different. So yeah, so my way of coloring a page with a thing that I don't like is just to cover. And then yes, so here I didn't like the snakes and the skull, and so yeah, so I had to alter 2 years ago. I was already altering pages. So this page was done now. So in here, what I was trying to do was try a different way. So when I did just one color, of course, for the green, and then for the structures. So remember here, hang on. Here I did with ink. Then here I did with acrylic, just to cover everything. And then here it was, you know, dots. So here I just went around with the lines. So this took me a long time, and honestly it didn't make me happier than doing the other ways of coloring, but I wanted to try. So we have Lando, of course he's always in trouble. We have a probe of the Empire trying to find the rebels. And then the fishes, I used white because here the white. The gray has to do with this. And because I'm always doing the bubbles white, I wanted to try something different and see how it would look like. So that's why I used the black, because here of the black. So that's why I chose these colors. But yeah, this took me a long time, and also the marker was always having trouble because the paints that I used, I was trying to use up the kids paint, and they are thick, and because they are thick, when you go through them, I mean, the markers don't work really well. So yeah, so that's also a thing that I learned. So this one I did now. So we have Boba Fett, and I really enjoy doing the page. So once again, just go with the color around. Then just with another color on top, the white here, so from the kids coloring book. Then here it was just like this, and then I went once again with the acrylic marker to go around the the house, and the bubbles I did with the white, as you can see. And here that you are seeing, like below here, it was a bunch of little things that I didn't want to color. So I just went around, and that's it. A much easier way for me to do it. So I like this page, is different. So this one was done 2 years ago. So yeah, it's the same thing, like it was the spray inks. So we have two colors, and then washi, and then this was metallic wash, and I put a little bit of gold on top to see if there was some kind of texture for this this bird. And then I went around with a marker. So yeah, this was 2 years ago. So two that I did now, also very fun. So once again, just one color. For here I did two colors with one that is smaller than this. I just went around like this, and I have a kind of a bubble, so it was also the one used to do the bubbles. Then here it was, yeah, with a paintbrush, just like this. And then this black, a little bit of black that I wanted, so I did with a tiny paintbrush, and yeah, just around. And yeah, so we have R2D2. Instead of coloring all of these little things, we have a very shining page. Oops, I'm going to. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Okay. So let's just drink a little bit. So yeah, very shining page. Here are the tiny things. So this one was a color as a base, and that's what I never used to do. I just use one color. Now I'm using, you know, the base, and then I'm putting something on top. So it was the base first, yes, like this. I think you can see better. Then like this, I think I was using this one here, like this and like this. Then of course the coloring page, just one color here. And then I went with this one again, the bubbles that I love, on top, and it looks cool. So once again, a lot of texture. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to see if I can show you without so much glare, because it shines the whole thing. Okay, here it is. Yeah, everything shines in this page. There's the only thing that doesn't shine is the character, Admiral. He's the only one that's not shining. The rest, everything shines. So this one was done 2 years ago for Doodle Robot. She was doing the Phantom of the Opera. I'm sorry, yeah, the music of the night. So I immediately reminded myself of the Phantom of the Opera. Here's the mask. And then once again, I use these three colors that I had from the metallic wash. So this is supposed to be the sky. Then we have the sea. And the story was because at the end of the Phantom of the Opera, the Phantom sent bottle with a message to Christine over the ocean. So it's their song. So here you can see the song. It's a nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation, darkness stirs and wakes imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses. And then you have the rest of the lyrics. So here I used a paper on top. So we have the bottle. So I had a lot of fun doing this. And then I used stencil for the fishes, and then stickers for the stars, and then this is washi. So yeah, another fun page. So these two are done now. of course, you know that we need to have the Portuguese sardines in my big projects, and I couldn't forget them. So Portuguese sardines are napkins. So we have the stormtroopers patrolling, and there we have the Portuguese sardines swimming merrily around them. So we have washi, and then metallic paint, and then glitter paint, and then acrylic markers. So a lot of shine again. I really was a little bit lost in this page. So it has a lot of layers just because I was just trying to make things make sense. Just because in the beginning I used a lot of red, and yeah, it was too much, and then everything shines again. So yeah, because here the only thing that you have, it's this. So here it's nothing, and here it's nothing, and that's why I was trying to do this. Yeah, so yeah, Portuguese sardines represented once again, so I'm happy with that. Here, this is a fun page. So once again I used my paper, and you can see the evolution. So here there was nothing, right? So it was just a tissue paper. And then here I just splattered because I had no idea what the reaction was going to be with this thin paper with the water. So this was just all over the place. And here I was a little bit more brave. So once again, it's just, you know, pieces glued together. Then, you know, I had the window, so the whole page was just these fishes. So here I went and I did put things on top. So this is orange. So you have the wall, because it's like Han Solo is watching on the window, because he was, you know, in the Lost Ocean, hiding from the Empire. So we have the fishes that he's seeing, a little black again, so it matches this black acrylic marker. So yeah, so it's a lot of play. And once again, of course, I'm coloring everything very easily. No shadow, no highlights, everything in a block color. But I like the colors at the end, so I'm happy with the page. Another easy page. So this was with wrapping paper again. And for me, this wrapping paper really represents the ocean. So we have, again, the washi tape, because it matches with the wrapping paper. See? The wrapping paper also has the gold. Then I used doily. So with the doily, I painted so it matched, because the doily was white. So I matched with the gold. And then this is the coloring page. So I colored with let me see, permanent marker with a Sharpie. So just one color. I colored this and I colored this, and yeah, these two easy pages. But once again, I love the colors. My favorite colors are blue and yellow, so yeah. And it shines, so we have everything that I like in this page. So Darth Vader, and once again we have the hearts. It's the only time usually that you see me putting hearts. It's always the Darth Vader one. I don't know, it's stronger than me. So of course, I mean, Johanna already had a heart, right? So, and it had the heart and it had the dolphins, which is what I colored with metallic marker. And then this is metallic paint, and then this is the watercolor, the black watercolor, like this. This is an image from that glue book that I did a month ago. This is a heart that I punched with the black paper, and then I put a little bit of white so it wasn't so dark. So yeah, that's it. I mean, a very easy page to do. But see the little fishes and all of that, so I just thought that Darth Vader in the middle worked in this page. So yeah, here he is. This one was done 2 years ago, so it was wrapping paper when I started using wrapping paper for pages. Then just two colors, the dots again. See, these tiny fishes are not for me. So yeah, just put a dot on each of them, which matches this dot. And the reason why you are seeing all this crinkly is because this is how I learned that I needed to be careful if I put a lot of water on the other side of the page, because this was all intact, but then I used all of this water in this side, so yeah, the paper, it ruins it. Then we have my Jedi Star Wars mermaids. This was done 2 years ago, so yeah, just one color, the red, because it symbolized the Empire. That's why I put the water red. Then a lot of dots again, so I mean 2 years after, that's still my favorite thing. The mermaids in black, so you could really see them. There's a ship of the Empire that falls into the ocean, and then the mermaids find the lightsabers. So that was the story 2 years ago, and it matches with the story now, because you know they found the Jedi the lightsabers from the Jedi that were killed, so they can save the lightsabers from the Empire. So that's this page. This one I did now. So once again, this and watercolor, and here, this is from the coloring book. I used ink here. So for the fishes, I just wanted some of them to pop out. We have the boat, and then here it was really tricky, those like things, so I just colored with one color. And then from the water, I didn't use white, I used the metallic, and then the green. So it's a bit of a mess, but I think it's fun. This is like a storm. This boat had so many things on top, but it ended like this, and then we have, you know, the water. So another colorful page. Here, this was done 2 years ago, again with the spray inks. We have a coloring page. I colored the dress of Johanna, and yeah, so here you see the difference in 2 years. So 1 year, 2 years ago, and this is now. So this was also colored with alcohol markers. So another 2 years ago, I wanted to do a flower under the sea. So once again, glitter paint. I just tried to put the fishes in another color so you can see them. Here they are. So they are the color of the flower. I did the flower with washi and a sticker. That was it. These were the mermaids, also 2 years ago. So we have the winter mermaids and the summer mermaids, and they meet at this place in the ocean. And I actually color all of this with gel pens. So I used colors from both the winter and the summer mermaids, and it shines. And I put the dots as the bubbles. So I did color all of this 2 years ago. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so this is fun. Another page done 2 years ago, we have Superman, my favorite superhero. So we have the mermaids, and the mermaids were a stencil, so I just went around and I cut, and then I glued them. So is it a boat? Is it a fish? It's Superman, and we have him. So here was just a mixture of glitter paints. Just did like this, and then the waves, and yeah. And then washi around. Once again, lots and lots of glitter. I know it's too much, but it's fine. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. So yes, too much glitter. So one of my favorite pages of all times, done 2 years ago, it's my Infinity Fishes. So this was the first time that I did use paper to color an image. So what I did was I used origami paper. So this is origami paper, space origami paper. I cut in shapes of scales, and I just glued the fishes, and then I went on top with glitter glue, and that's it. And then here it just has Gansai watercolor, granulating watercolor. So just one color. I did this using a sponge. Yeah, and it's still one of my favorite pages still. So done 2 years ago, and they shine. And yeah, I love my infinity fishes. So again, very simple but very fun to do. So here they are. So this was also done in previously. So when I did this page, I immediately saw the scene of the Little Mermaid of Ursula. Is seeing the Little Mermaid in her glass bubble. So this is a coloring page from a Little Mermaid movie, book. I colored this with hot wall marker and glitter, gel pen, and a little bit of gel pen. So I colored this page, I cut, and I glued here. So you have one color here, which is the Gansai Taming watercolor. Here you have the kids paint, and here, so I just inverted. This is the stencil that I use black paint. Here are the bubbles that are stickers. This is acrylic marker, and then this is a metallic marker and acrylic marker. So that's how you have the scene. So here we have Ursula. Even the hair, I put a little bit of gel pen, metallic gel pen. So here we have the mermaid, the Little Mermaid, and yeah. So I immediately saw it in my head, this scene, and that's what I did. And we have the last page of the book. So we have the end. We have C3PO, and he's saying, "A new hope is beginning now." Okay, so that's where we are. There will be a new hope, which means there's going to be, you know, a bright future. So I had yellow, and then I put on top metallic. Then this was done with stamps. This was with acrylic marker. We have the mermaid and the shiny hair. And there he is. And we have the end of the book. So now I also could color the poster, but I'm not going to do, because I'm going to give this book to kids, and I'm just going to remove one page. It's my Infinity Fishes page, because I love this page and I want to keep it, and I'm going to give the book for them because it's going to be a storybook, and then they have the poster that they can color and join the story. So that's why I'm leaving the poster. And yep, that's it. So I hope you enjoy this flip through, and we'll see each other soon. Bye.